Is your website starting to feel like last fall's pants? You know the feeling. Kind of uncomfortable, rubbing in the wrong places, feels unflattering, and you're not excited about wearing them in public. My friend, it's time for a change. I'm Brandy Lawson with Fiery Effects, and this is the first video in our series on identifying and implementing change in your business. We're looking at change through the first simple machine of business, websites. I believe websites are assets. That is, you invest in them so they can be used in your business to create value for you and your clients through maximizing access, functionality, efficiency, and effectiveness. Besides this no longer fits right feeling that creeps in over time, here's how you can know if your website needs an update. First, is it doing its job? And if you haven't defined this, just pause the video and go do that. If you need help, check out the previous series. 2, does its job definition need an update? Does it need to change? Websites are not just for sales and marketing, recruiting, customer service, support, referrals, operations. There's so many functions that the website can help with that may change over time. And 3, what functionality does the site need to go do its job? We are updating our homepage, and how did I know that the homepage needed updating? Well, it was no longer doing its job. It's there to welcome people and get them to the place they need to go and get them to take action. Well, it was no longer doing that properly because, well, we hadn't updated it, cobbler's shoes and all of that. So I knew it was time for an update. We also had gotten a lot of clarity on how we work with clients. That was no longer reflected on the homepage. That needed to change. Offerings had also been simplified, and we had a clearer message to communicate. So website, homepage didn't reflect any of that. Then, okay, we need an update. That's very clear. What happens next? Well, next we decide, okay, we need an update. How are we going to implement this? So we started the process. The first thing I did was redefine the job. Okay, what is the job of the website homepage? Has it changed? Well, it hasn't really changed, but it has evolved a bit. And we have other places that we need people to go, and we have some other audiences we're addressing. Okay, great. Now that we're clear on the job, what are we going to do? Well, the first thing that we do is we put together a wireframe, which is simply just like an outline. Now that we know the job, we know essentially kind of the pieces and parts that need to go on the page. Great. So I outlined those. That's a wireframe. It can just be a simple drawing. It can be fancy. Doesn't need, but that comes before content. First, the job, then how it's going to do its job, then the content to do its job, because the words matter a lot. Got the content created, and then we brought in one of our partners to do the design, because design is also part of the communication. You need to have clear design to present the content in a way that can be consumed and people can take action. So this is the functionality piece that some people just pass right over. Like they just skip design, or they do what we do, which is just kind of cobble it together, which is a fine place to start. But it was time for us to level up our game. So that's the process that we went through to determine the homepage needed an update, how we were going to update it, and now we're working on implementing that design change and update so that the homepage can do its job, and then we can measure it against the job. So that's how we made the change. The good news, bad news about websites is that they can be easy to update. This is good news because you might be able to avoid tackling a whole overhaul by making tweaks and adjustments over time, which we didn't do. This can be bad news because we either avoid doing that, or once it starts, it continues and there's no end to the project, which is why the goal is important, knowing what you're after. But just like donating those old pants and getting the perfectly fitting, flattering new pair, making the necessary changes to your website means having more confidence to show up for your audience and deliver. And your website can fully support you in those goals and your business by being equipped to do its job. So take action now by making sure your website has a clearly defined job, see if that job has changed since you last updated the site, and determine what updates need to be made. If you'd like to get the rest of the videos in this series, be sure to connect with me at fieryeffects.com or follow me here.